Welcome guys to my YouTube channel, and in this video I will share my thoughts of iRacing, and I will explain some basic concepts in iRacing. It's been 1 year since I started doing iRacing, so I thought this would be a great moment to make this kind of video. The race you see on the background is from my latest race from Mazda MX5 Rookie Series, and this is the top split. So what top split means, basically it means that if there are, like, let's say there are 100 people that wanna join the race, the service will split those people into the different races, and top split just means that it is considered the fastest race from all of those, basically. I wanna talk about a little bit why I started doing iRacing. Before I bought myself an iRacing subscription, I was doing a Project Cars 2, but not in online. I was racing against the AI, and that was my main motivation to moving to the iRacing, because the AI in Project Cars 2, and I think this applies to many other driving sims as well, the AI is just completely stupid. And you know, it's just that you can't really use use all the driving or racing techniques that you would use against real humans, like applying pressure or showing yourself into the mirror and forcing guy in front of you make a mistake and that kind of stuff. So I wanted to get this real racing experience, and I thought I will give iRacing a go. So when you start doing iRacing, I guess there's like 3 roadmaps that you can go for: oval racing, dirt oval, and road racing. And as I'm not much of a fan of ovals myself, so I decided to go for the road racing. And there are a couple cars that you can start driving when you're driving a Rookie Series, but I guess the usual path is to drive this Mazda MX5, so the car that you can see on the screen right now. And even after 1 year, I still like this car, and I don't feel the need to move forward. Of course, I have tried different cars as well. I actually completed a season with the Skip Barber this year, and well, it is a nice car as well. Maybe not my cup of tea, but I can see why some people like that. Anyway, what you get when you start iRacing and what you get from your first races. Well, first of all, the service doesn't quite know your level or your pace. Are you fast or maybe a little bit slower? So your first races may be like a little bit chaotic, and I think the most important thing is just to stay out of troubles and stay safe and get out of the rookie license. After that you get yourself I rating and safety rating, and those are kind of like magic numbers that will change all the time based on your results, and those are like, they kind of indicate your general pace. And iRacing uses those numbers to find yourself equal opponents when you're racing the official races. I have some real background racing experience for myself, although it's been quite many years since I raced my last race, and not from cars but from motorcycles. But what I realized when I was driving my first races in iRacing, and even now, I get the same kind of excitement that you get in real life when you are on the grid and waiting the lights go out. And that's just a really nice feeling that you don't really get when you're racing against the AI, because you just know those are the computer brains and not real humans, so I really like that feeling. So I guess I want to move to the next topic, which is official racing versus league racing. And official racing is that kind of racing when you log onto the server service and you choose the car you want to race, and you see when the race starts. Like for example, this Mazda MX5, there's always a race in every hour, so you can race every day, every time basically. League racing, on the other hand, those are like individual leagues that are, first of all, they require usually an admin to run things up and organize the events, etc. And when I started doing iRacing, I very quickly find myself a league. There's a search functionalities in iRacing service that you can use, so I use that, and I find myself a league called Sunday's Drivers Cup, and we are driving with the same car MX5. that league has been a absolutely amazing experience. I like this kind of league racing when you are racing against the same people all the time, and you kind of have to think about the big picture and not just the one race. Although, don't get me wrong, when you are driving official races, in iRacing there's also this concept called season, and season is 12 weeks long time period that in every week you will drive in a different track. For example, through this race is the start of the new season, and this is week 1. We are driving around Tsukuba. So every week you race in a different track, and you get the points based on your results. And then at the end of the season, you kind of have your position in the standings. There are also something called divisions. So if you end up in a high up in your current division, you may end up in a higher division for the next season. iRacing also has this clever system that, let's say you can race only one race a week, so you still have a chance against a guy who can do like 50 races a week, because iRacing will take an average result of that guy who did 50 races and compare that average against your one result. So it doesn't really matter if you can do only one race or 50 races, for example. You still have a chance. Then the next topic, the cost of the service. I hear some people are saying that the iRacing is getting expensive very quickly, and I kinda disagree. Like, the only thing that you have to pay is the monthly fee, and for me that is a 15 euros per month, and I consider that that's a good price for the service. You get the regular updates, and you get the customer service, you get the good racing experience, so I'm happy to pay for that. But if you want to race some different cars, the cars that are not included in the subscription, you have to pay for them. It's a one-time payment. It's usually like 15 euros per car. And then also if you want to use some different tracks that are not included in the subscription, you have to pay for them. Those are also 15 euros, I guess. So yeah, I can see the reasoning behind when someone says that it gets very expensive. But if you're just focusing on one car, let's say I did finish a Skip Piper season this year, so I did buy the car, and then every week if there was a track that I didn't own, I have to pay for it. But I still consider it was worth of money, because, well, this is still much cheaper than real racing, and at least personally I feel like I'm getting something for that money. It's not like I'm just throwing money away, but I am actually getting something for that in return. Then there are different kind of costs that are completely up to you, but at least you need a steering wheel. So if you don't have any, you have to buy for it, and that's pretty much it. I started doing iRacing with a single screen, but it was pretty fast when I realized that I should get like a triple screen setup that you can see on the screen right now, because I didn't feel like I was confident enough going to the corners side by side when I had no, like, I didn't know where the other guys are. So this triple screen setup, at least for me, it has helped me quite a lot. But it's not necessary. You can do one screen, and a lot of guys does that. And in the future, I'm actually moving to VR. Actually, at the moment I'm waiting my HP Reverb G2 to be carried to me. It is somewhere in Germany right now. And also on the screen you can see my little driving seat that I have made, although you can't see it completely. But I started with the office chair, and it was quite difficult because I didn't have any proper mount points for, let's say, pedals, etc. And when I was applying brakes, I kind of had to apply a opposite force with my hands so that I won't roll away with the chair. But yeah, these are like the kind of costs that are completely up to you. So is iRacing time consuming? If you ask me, No, it totally depends on you. Like, if I look at my overall stats that I have, I've done 42 road races since I started doing iRacing. So that's less than a race per week. But how I like to race is that I do quite a lot of practice before I join the race, because I want to be competitive. I want to be prepared when I'm going to the race, and that will lead to like the situation that I will build up my I rating, and then I will get the race against the tougher cars. Like in this video, I'm doing my absolutely best here. I'm still sitting on a 8th position. So like, yeah, I know there are some guys who like to just go to the race unprepared and after that go to another race and race after race after race. But I feel personally, this is just my opinion, I feel that if you practice, the experience is much better. And when I'm doing just a race per week, let's say, for example, one race per week, it almost feels like that race matters more, because I still want to end up in a good position. So it kind of like affects my driving, at least to some level. And it's just this kind of racecraft that you will get when you're driving more. Like, you start to know when to push forward, when to back off, when you should just stay behind and waiting for a mistake, when you should try to make the overtake and that kind of stuff. And I always drive as I would do in real life. So I try to be safe, not to crash, because in real life that would cost you money and that would hurt you. Of course, in virtual world that doesn't matter, but yeah, it is a simulator after all. And speaking about crashes, don't get me wrong, I have done my own share of crashes as well. I have caused few crashes and ruined some races as well, but those were just a mistake, not in purpose at all. And that's also one kind of like, some people may not think about it too much, but when I crash, when I ruin somebody's race, it just hurt somehow inside. Like, and that's not a really nice feeling. So it just shows how much this, even though it is just a, well, some people may call it game. It's not a game, it's sim, but it just shows how much more it is than just driving. It is all those emotions and all those feelings as well that is going on there. And speaking about emotions, some people in the chat may get maybe a little bit too emotional some time to times, especially if they are getting hit by someone who just misjudge his braking point or something. And for that reason, I always run a voice chat muted, because I don't wanna hear all these complaints and all this chitty chat going on. And some people even find time to type with their keyboard and pointing fingers. I can understand, like, in the heat of the racing, when you get taken out by someone and it wasn't your fault, but then after all, you have to remember that everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. So I also like because I'm not that kind of a team player, I like racing because you're there on your own, and at the end of the day everything is up to you. Some races you get hit and get taken out, but in the long run, if you are safe, then you are safe. Like, for example, I got the safety rating, I think it's maximum 4.99, and I don't feel like that. I feel like that was quite easy to achieve, but I don't know. But we are already running out of time. We are starting lap 14 soon, so 2 laps to go in this race. So I'm gonna move forward, and I'm just wrap things up, and I want to talk about, like, if you are considering getting iRacing, should you get it? Well, the short answer from my experience and in my opinion is you should get it. You should give it a try. It doesn't hurt you if you don't like it. It's just like little money you lose. It's not like 60 euros game that you buy. It's a monthly subscription, and usually there are some discounts going on online, so search for those. Maybe you get it for even cheaper. But if you decide to try iRacing, give it a time, get out of the rookie series and just learn and practice, because that way you will get the most out of it. If you just want to jump into the race, that's also fine. But like if you are not consistent, you cannot kinda expect that the race will be consistent as well. And if you think about like, is this going to cost too much? Like I said, for that monthly fee, for the basic subscription, you get a lot of content. Go to the iRacing website. From there you can see all the tracks and all the cars that you get, and that's more than enough to enjoy this service. And not only you get tracks and cars with the subscription, but you may end up getting some friends as well. At least I did when I started doing league racing. I wasn't expecting that, but I get like many good online friends, so to say. And yeah, and overall the community in iRacing is very nice. Although some people may get mad at someone in the heat of the racing, but that is understandable. It happens, and that's just it just shows how human this is, so to say. But yeah, I'm running out of time. We are coming to the last corner of the race. So at this point I want to thank you guys for watching, and there would be a lot of more to talk about this service and talk about iRacing, but I will wrap things up now, and thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you, and bye bye.